Welcome, everybody, LinkedIn and YouTube. I'm Rebecca Gunter, and this is the Stone Fruit Roll-Up. This is your weekly live show. You're watching the show all about building the show that you're watching right now. This week is incredibly nerve-wracking and exciting because I've signed up voluntarily to get in the hot seat with my main man, Zack Bordeaux from DozerDog Designs, who has been helping people hell-bent on making a reputation, building a reputation for themselves, bring that to life in video and marketing mixes and platform building everywhere. Zack's name may be quite familiar to you other than DozerDog Designs, as he is the executive creative producer behind Business in the Raw on 100 TV, Mondays 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. And that is a multi-episode brand building business development show in which we follow one entrepreneur in residence, that's Janine Payne, build a business from scratch and get a fly on the wall perspective. So I've had a chance to get to know Zack intimately over the process of bringing my reputation to life in words, actions, and images through Business in the Raw. And he has graciously agreed to come on live with us today and do an anatomy of a YouTube channel. Why does it matter? Well, as I've been building out this show, Business in the Raw, and then also my other media projects that have all just blossomed this year. I had absolutely no footprint several months ago, and now we've got all this video content coming to life, and I'm just throwing it up on a YouTube channel willy-nilly, just kind of throwing it up there and seeing what sticks. And Zack has some very strong opinions about what's working over there and what's not. And we're going to put myself in the hot seat in real time and kind of do an epic teardown of the Stone Fruit YouTube channel and use that as a teachable moment to rebuild. Zack has some great examples to show us of people who are doing it right. Lots of opinions and lots of thought leadership, pro tips, and seasoned advice to help anyone who's out there building a platform get their YouTube channel right with the Lord, as they say. So and Zack and I have a small little offer to share with you as well. An adorable little offer for anybody who's here in the live stream or on the recording. So again, I am Rebecca Gunter. This is the Stone Fruit Roll-Up, your Thursday weekly show at high noon Eastern Standard Time. You're watching the show about building the show that you're watching right now. So without further ado, let me add Zack to the stream. Womp, 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 womp.
Hey, how's it going?
Welcome, Zack. Thank you for being here today. We're super excited to have you. And RB is here. Ross Brand is already kicking off the comments with our number one comment to bring the whole 100 TV family together. And we're super excited to have Ross. So thank you for showing up in the comments, RB. He says, hey, Zack. And thank you, Zack, for volunteering for me to hold my hand as I volunteer to be in the hot seat and take a look around here at our YouTube channel and get right and get better and get better, faster, quicker. Tell the folks at home a little bit about how you've built DozerDog Designs and how you're able to maintain, I don't know, it seems like 700 pieces of new content that come out on your channels like every day. Tell us a little bit about your journey and your story of how you built your own platform out.
So yeah, to start, about 4 years ago, I started doing some, I guess I always say 4 years. It's been longer than that. It's been almost 4.5 now. We started out for my mom's business. We built up a bunch of different, social media platforms. We started out with Calculated Moves, which is an accounting firm, innovative accounting firm, which obviously is my mom's business. We started there, and then we started branching out on some niches, doing videos through YouTube. The edits were terrible, just like anybody's first video that doesn't, go through a large agency that's, actually has people in the background that know what they're doing. When you don't know what you're doing, it's going to suck. That's what happens to everybody. So we started out, we didn't have the greatest quality. We improved. We learned from the experiences. We kept going, kept pushing harder on YouTube. You know, it was a great experience to learn a lot of things. Since then, I've been able to build up, you know, the brand for them, for me, and then also to be able to build up, you know, my name through personal branding, through marketing, and through a bunch of different strategies. So I've built up my YouTube channel a good bit. The goal here for me right now is to just kind of show people how easy it actually is to put out video. And I do that through a bunch of different methods, whether that's my podcast, whether that's through, you know, my daily YouTube videos, daily shorts, all kinds of stuff coming out on every single platform, whether that's Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, anywhere. I put out a ton of content. So kind of my goal right now is to just build up my personal brand, and then also to help my clients actually get results in the branding space, and to be able to actually get, you know, leads, subscribers and stuff from their videos versus just, you know, actually just growing. Like, we want to make sure that they're getting results. So very results focused. But yeah, I've been in the YouTube game for a while now. I've got to experience a lot of different ups and downs of YouTube and of, you know, social media in general. But yeah, I mean, I've been doing it for a while, so I've learned a lot of ins and outs, a lot of quick little tips, tricks, and stuff like that, which I hope to share with you today.
Well, I'm so glad you're here to share this with us today, because I feel like all I do is throw spaghetti against a wall. I just feel like I'm feeding the algorithm, and probably not well. Feeding the algorithm Snickers bars. So before we get into what I'm not doing right, I just want to let you know that Tony is also in the comments, which is extremely exciting. And he wants to know how you approach content creation for business and personal hobby stuff when no one is speaking, no one's spending time on with stuff. Wow. Let me start reading this again. Zach, how would you approach content creation for business and or personal / hobby stuff when one isn't spending time on social media themselves, managing accounts, or interacting with the comments? So I think Tony's really speaking to, how do I still have a social media presence without sucking my life dry, actually being the one who has to kind of be chained to my social media account?
Well, I think it's the same way, you know, with anything, whether it's business, personal, whatever. You got to get your priorities straight. So do you really want to, you know, be able to build your brand, be able to actually get content, actually get all that stuff? And then from there, just to look at like, okay, what can I outsource? What can I give to somebody who's A, better than I am, and B, can save me time? And, you know, outsourcing is a big thing that I really believe in. I think this is kind of an interesting question, because I hear this a lot, that a lot of people are like, how do I do it without actually doing it? And the truth is, you're going to have to put in the time. You're going to have to put in the hard work. It's growing on social media is not an easy thing. I'm not going to lie to you and say, well, it's easy. You can just, you know, post once every month and grow your audience. Like, it takes a lot. There's a lot that goes into social media, into strategy, into actually getting, like, you know, your stuff looking good, and then also getting your stuff, you know, produced in a timely manner that doesn't take up your whole day. Like, at some point, if you have a business, like for Rebecca, for example, like, her business is not recording, it's to actually write copy and to, you know, build brands. Same thing with me. Like, my business is not just to sit there and record content, although it kind of is. Like, my business is to actually help people get results. So for me, my content, like, I record a lot. Like, I really do. I like you said, I kind of do suck my life away in recording, just because that's what brings back the returns in business. And I know right now that if I record, you know, a ton of content right now, it's going to be a lot easier for me in the future. Like, right now, I have about a month and a half worth of content in, like, just in the vault, like, ready to go out, just unpublished stuff right now that I could, if I died today, my social media would run itself for another month and a half, 2 months. So,
except for who's managing the comments. That's really.
Yeah, so the comments, like, for me, I think that the comments are something that you have to do. Like, that's, in some cases you do have to be in the comments, in some cases you don't. And, like, I think that for comments, it's like, I don't know, you just have to do it. Like, I don't know. I want to tell you that, like, I would love to tell you, hey, here's the secret sauce to not having to do comments, but it's just one of those things that if you want to build more than a following to actually get people to convert into leads. You have to build up relationships with them and build rapport. Now, if you're sitting behind a big old brand, like, yeah, then you can hire a VA to do it, hire somebody to do it. But comments aren't really that, much of a problem for me. Like, I enjoy responding to comments. And for me, like, I go above and beyond. Like, one of my core values is to over deliver every time. So my TikTok strategy is very interesting. Like, my TikTok strategy, when somebody even just watches my video, I follow them. I see every person who views my videos profile and likes my content, shares my content, everything like that. On a daily basis, I go and follow those people back. And then I have a VA who goes in and sends an outbound DM to every person who engages with me through Instagram. So they go and look up that person's name on Instagram, see if they are, if they exist on Instagram, then automatically they'll follow them, know to send an outbound DM, and then go like their stuff on TikTok. So I have a very in-depth strategy for TikTok, right? That it does involve me, but it doesn't have to involve me. So being able to pull yourself out of that to have, setters and closers and stuff like that in your business is how you kind of get rid of the comments inside of business. As far as comments go, just interacting with your fans is the best way to build rapport. So that's how you're going to actually grow out your social media to people who are leads and who actually can, qualify your content. But I think it's getting more and more important, especially in the world of AI, that you're actually showing that you're a real human, showing that you're authentic and doing comments. But honestly, like, I don't really have, I wish I could tell you, like, hey, you don't have to do comments, but like, it's just one of those things that has to be done. Like, so
I feel like Tony's asking, how do I stay fit without doing any exercise? I feel like that's the answer. And I wish there,
unfortunately, I wish there was a secret sauce to say, hey, here's how you do social media without doing social media. But the truth is, if you need to do social media and you're not good at it or you don't like it, just hire somebody. Like, there are so many people in social media. You can go hire VAs for cheap if you don't have a huge budget to spend on it. You can get people who are professionals in the space. Obviously I do that. So, like, hiring a professional, I don't want to sound like I'm just here saying, well, you just got to come hire me. Like, that's how you do it. Like, but the truth is, just hiring somebody, even if it's not me, even if it's just some random person off the street, like, to have somebody there to do your social media is going to be a big time saver for you. So
it does feel like my new full-time job for sure.
And
not even just the recording.
As a business owner, like, the model of a business for most people is that they are on the front end of marketing and then they have somebody in the back end that manages their systems. So for me, I have a creative director who manages all my deliverables, my systems, all that kind of stuff in the backside of my business. And I do more of the upfront marketing, right? So we're partners in that sense, but we go through and work together to get the result. But that way I can put all my focus on one thing and he can put all his focus on one thing, and we can actually get a lot more done.
Yeah, like, I was watching Ross. I'm so sorry. I was watching Ross here in the comments on a live stream with Renee Hastings recently, and he was talking about how to repurpose all this stuff and how people don't always get traction just from the original live stream or recording, but from the broken up, like, snackable content in between. And I got super overwhelmed. Like, oh my God, I know that's where the magic is. And I'm kind of only driving on one side of the street by just doing the live streaming or, producing business in the raw. But to add this whole other element of the shorts and the marketing mix, I mean, I just kind of almost got shut down. Now, I know the answer would be, like, double down with Zach and he'll help you figure all that stuff out. But if someone is
find somebody to strategize too, like, somebody who knows how to have a strategy in place is going to be a lot more efficient. Like, if you think about going into a business where you need, like, a VA, your VA is going to perform a lot better if they have a step-by-step SOP and workflow of what they need to do in a day. So if you can get a strategy of, okay, this is what you should be doing, it's going to be a lot easier to grow from there. So,
well, Ross wants to know, speaking of Ross, he wants to know what has the most impact on growing your YouTube channel? Is it shorts? Is it regular uploads or live streaming? And I know you guys are actually kind of divergent on this. You're a huge fan of the shorter the better, and Ross is really championing some longer stream content right now. So without him being here, other than in the comments, get into it.
So there's one way that I always look at this stuff, but yeah, and I agree. I think it's hard to do it for every show, but the way that you kind of do the shorts, the long form, and the regular uploads is this: the short form content gets people in the door. The regular uploads nurture people, and then you just take your regular uploads from your live stream so that you don't have to have as much content. So with your live stream, you're going to record this whole live stream, and then you might take clips of it. Like even I will take clips from, either this live stream or other live streams or, bigger compound assets that I use, make those into podcast episodes, make those into Doggedly digital episodes, right? Then I'll make those into YouTube videos, take a concept from that YouTube video, recreate it as a regular YouTube video, and use it that way. So being able to reuse the content from your long form, like your live streams, make them into regular uploads, and then to be able to have shorts that shorts, like I said, they get people in the door, and then your regular uploads actually nurture them to actually make them become a lead.
That makes sense on paper, ZB, but it is overwhelming with the, you have deliverables, you have client work to do. It's hard. Yeah. It's really hard to make a choice as to where to spend your time. And I feel like the only way to really have a curated feed is for me to spend, every other Saturday poring over the script and trying to identify little shorts or little things to pull out that actually will be the hook of it. Yeah.
Well, I will
help myself.
I will say, and this is not like a sales pitch by any means, but my team, I train every one of my editors to be able to identify clips. So clip identification is something that they have to be able to do to get a job with me. And that means that they can take an entire live stream, go through and stamp everything as far as, okay, this might be a good clip. This will be a good clip. This is a bad clip. Take, 4 minutes and 35 seconds to 7 minutes and 8 seconds, right? They can identify those clips, and then they can take those and repurpose them into shorts. So my team is all trained on how to do the short form content. Now, it does take a lot more time, whether it's your time or a team's time. But to be able to do your shorts from your long form, the goal here is to not have any extra work for you. So that's why you do the live stream instead of just recording regular uploads, right? So you have those bigger compound assets that can, actually make shorter a big old asset that can make shorter videos throughout it is going to be a lot more beneficial because you just don't have to record for as long, right? So if I sit down and record a 7-minute video and I record 10 of those at the time, that's going to take me a lot more time than just sitting down and recording a live stream and be able to take clips from it. So
exactly,
that's kind of the concept.
Well, now we have the strategy. Let's get into it. You have full power over this StreamYard dashboard in front of you. Take control and bring up the Stone Fruit YouTube channel and show us in real time how some of the things you're talking about are not being applied or should be applied or can be applied. I'm going to take notes because this is real. This is a working session for me, not just, a live stream for live stream's sake. So you and I are both very meta. Meta is better. Like, why not have this conversation live and help anybody else who's building a YouTube channel and show that transparency, and highlight our authenticity. But for real, these are also notes for me to be able to actually make improvements on the business because I am platform building, but I'm not paying attention at all to the house that we're building. So go ahead, Zach, take it down, brother. Take it all down.
Right. So the first big suggestion that I have for you is when you search Stone Fruit, you got these show up now. So the channel should show up at the top. So if I search here, if I go and search Real Zach B, right, my channel comes up first. So this is the first thing that I want to pop up, and then below it, it's going to have a list of different kind of videos that you have for that channel. So videos that are there, those are going to show up underneath it. So right now, I have my channel at the top. When you search Stone Fruit, it's not at the top. So what I would recommend that you do is go through and change this headline here to just say Stone Fruit. So it doesn't have to, I would take out the For Juicy Marketing because YouTube is actually affecting that. Now, another way that you can kind of do this in a workaround is if you go into your YouTube studio and you go to settings, I believe, and you go to channel, you can add in different tags here and under the keywords. So these tags are going to be stuff that are really specific. So for instance, I can add in Real Zack B right here. So when somebody searches Real Zack B, it'll come up. You also want to add in misspellings of your name. So if people spell my name like that, or if they spell my name as Zack Bordeaux, like that, it'll pop up still. So you want to be adding in tags that can be common misspellings, and you want to be doing this in your videos as well when you do it in your videos. Now,
on the videos as well, I guess this is back to having a team. Well, let me give you some pushback here, ZB. Who's going to know that your name is the Real Zack B? Like, who's going to know how to search for that?
So typically,
stone fruit.
So typically on Instagram or on LinkedIn or somewhere where I post my content, I post shorts of every video. So every YouTube video that we do, I have a short that comes out of that video as well. Now, it might not get posted, right? I have shorts that just sit literally, like I said, I have probably 1 to 2 months ahead worth of shorts inside of my Google Drive folder. So those shorts all come out of my long form, and then some of them gets posted, some of them don't, right? So to be able to have short form content out of your long form from your Instagram to push people to YouTube is going to be very important. Now, the trick to growing on social media as a whole is to have multiple platforms. So I know this is like counterintuitive to what you want to hear right now. What you want to hear right now is like, hey, I only want to post on LinkedIn, and I want that to be it. And I want that to be my only driver of leads. I agree with a lot of people that
shut your sweet mouth. That's exactly what I want to do.
I know a lot of people say focus is something that you need to be utilizing. Like you just need to focus on one platform. I personally think that's a terrible idea. And here's why. Whenever you open up, if you're a follower of mine, if you open up LinkedIn, you have the opportunity to see my face, right? You open up Instagram, you have the opportunity to see my face. You open up YouTube, you have the opportunity to see my face. People get subconsciously attracted to seeing things in multiple places. So when people see you, they open up LinkedIn, they see you, they know hey, this guy's, covering multiple spaces. So I think a lot of people are like, well, I just want to take my business off the grid. That's the exact opposite. You need to get on the grid. You need to be on as many grids as possible. So you need to be on, every social media platform. Now, I don't recommend that anybody goes in from day one and starts on every, channel. I would recommend you start with the big ones. So I would recommend you go with, depending on your business, obviously, different niches, different, platforms. But Instagram, probably Facebook for most people. Depends on who your target market is. Twitter is pretty good. I would stay away from TikTok to start because it's a lot more complicated. YouTube is definitely a must. You got to have a YouTube. And because with YouTube, you can rank in Google. And I'd also recommend that you just start out by creating content. And when you first start out, try to create just a little tiny bit of content in each place and see where it performs the best. Then double down on that platform. So if you post content and you post the same piece of content over 6 platforms and it goes crazy on LinkedIn, right? You're going to want to focus a little bit more effort on LinkedIn, but still put your other platforms on the back burner, but still keep them moving so that there is actually an opportunity to grow on every platform. So especially if you're repurposing content, it's a lot easier to post that same piece of content amongst multiple platforms. So as much as you don't want to hear this, that's kind of the...
I don't want to hear it because I don't want to be on Facebook.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I am on YouTube. I am on LinkedIn. Neither of these are places that are performing well for me. Yeah. And we could go into a whole nother stone for Roll-Up about why that is. I do have a pretty, decent footprint on Instagram, but I've been ignoring that too. Just because, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just wish there was something different. Would a Substack count for you, or that's not considered a social media channel?
It's a social media channel. It is, but I would say you want to focus on the big ones, right? So there's a lot more audience on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. There's a lot more audience, just pure search results there. Mm-hmm. There are pure volume there. So to send outbound, right? If you want to do outbound DMs and, send people DMs, you're going to need to have some sort of presence on one of the big platforms. Is going to be your best way to go about it. So like if you want to, send outbound on Instagram, you're going to have to grow up your Instagram. So to be able to start that now, grow it up. And then whenever you're ready to do outbound in the future, whenever you've, outsourced something or have extra time on your hands or whatever, and you want to actually grow, then you'll have that opportunity already in stone. So being able to grow it up now versus waiting to do it later is going to, it's going to help you out a good bit.
How on earth am I supposed to like come up with the extra spoons to now start paying attention to Facebook and Instagram again?
I think that in a way it is hard. I know obviously you do a lot of deliverables, you're already overwhelmed, but this is going to sound weird, but the way that I get more time is just by prioritizing my time, right? You don't make time. There's always 24 hours in a day. You have to, create the time by blocking it off on your calendar. Right? You can't just wait for the right time to come. You got to just make that time, block it off on your calendar, and just, whenever you got a little bit of free time, do something, right? And you got to start also looking at, okay, what's your daily workflow looking like? And this could be like a whole nother thing as well in outsourcing, but look at I timestamp everything throughout my day. Right? Like this live stream, I came on here at 11:57. And that's where it got put on my calendar. It didn't get put at 12. It got put by the minute, every single thing I do throughout the day. So I know exactly where I wasted time, where my time went. When I look at that at the end of the day, I can say, okay, I wasted, 37 minutes today, right? And okay, well, tomorrow, how can I improve that? And what can I fill that 37 minutes with? So
well, let's not. But that sounds great for like an organized, relentless taskmaster. I'm asking honest, like very seriously. What about those of us who the deliverables come from a creative space? So if I've burned myself out, on having to respond on Facebook, making sure I have a short on Instagram, paying attention to LinkedIn, all of that stuff. If I'm burning myself out on the treadmill of pleasing the algorithm and I don't have enough creative space to then do the quality one-on work with clients, that is actually the ultimate thing.
So here's my question then. Do you not have time to do less? Are you doing too much creative work? Should you be outsourcing some of that work? Right? Should you be raising your prices so that you can get a more ideal client and taking some of that workload off of your hands? Because as much as like everybody hates when you have to fire a client, right? Nobody likes to have less money, but ultimately every time I've ever fired a client, it was the right decision. So when you look at that, you have to say, okay, what am I prioritizing here? So if you don't have enough time to do the marketing, do you have enough time to take on another client? Right? So at some point it comes down to where are you actually putting your time? If you want to put your time in deliverables, that's great, right? That's great. But can you take on another client? That's the real question is, can you also, do you have the time to take on another client? Because you're going to have to, lessen your marketing if you're taking on another client. So
that is the point of stone fruit. It's just not activated very well. Yet. I mean, it's just me. But ultimately, I mean, I have spent the last year and a half or so cultivating relationships with other copywriters so I could figure out who's great at what and where I can plug them in. So to your point of growth, like there is a plan for it, but the growing pains are for real when you're just like, okay, do I spend an extra 2 hours in this white glove delivery service of, providing my client with like website copy that will be like the best it could possibly be? Or do I spend my time trying to get the next retainer? Because eventually I have a bad habit of working myself out of a job already. Like well, there's nothing left really for us to do here. Like that happens to me quite often. So I always really have to be thinking about who is the next client in line and how am I getting in front of the right people. I think your advice of like raise your prices and figure out stuff you can outsource is good. But we're not here for that. We're here to then further be humiliated and embarrassed by our own YouTube channel. So let's get back to that.
All right. So when we look at this, just to look at, your videos and stuff, Some of these, like, you need to add a better thumbnail for. Like these ones here, you need to add some thumbnails.
Well, yeah, look how old they are.
Important. Some thumbnails are probably one of the most important things there is, just because your whole video kind of, if nobody clicks on your video, nobody's going to watch your video. So you can make your video as engaging as you want it to be. But if you don't have something to make people click on it, it's just going to be kind of pointless, right? So
yeah,
you got to make sure that there's something there to entice people to click on your video. Also, I would add a channel trailer. So if we look at like my channel here, we got a channel trailer. So when you can you
play it and let's see what it looks like?
Yeah, it's mine is just one of my top performing videos, but it's just a video. It's just like it doesn't have to be a full like drawn out trailer as far as this is stone fruit, this is what we do, but it can be, and I think it's very powerful to have some sort of sales asset there. That's kind of what this video is it's basically a sales asset that is used to entice people to watch other videos that will also build the rapport to sell them. So the goal here is to just have some sort of trailer or something to entice people to actually check out your channel and to show that you're knowledgeable. So it doesn't have to be a full, trailer, whatever. It just has to show people who you are. Basically it just shows positioning stuff. Like it shows people who you are, what do you offer, what do you deliver, who are they, whatever.
Oh my God, it's like it rolls right off your tongue, ZB.
Yeah. Yep. I try. But
would you need one of those for everything? Like, would ideally I have one for the channel? Ideally, I have one for Stone Fruit Roll-Up. Ideally, I'd have one for Business in the Raw. Ideally, I might have one for my participation on Ross's panel show Thursdays on 100 TV at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. See you in an hour, friends, over there. Would I have a trailer for each one of those as well?
Yeah, so I would just make one channel trailer that encompasses all of Stone Fruit, and it'll just go right here. So you can put one trailer at the top of your YouTube channel, so one per channel. If you hypothetically made a different channel for, say, the Roll-Up that was different from the Stone Fruit channel, which obviously you're not planning on doing right now, but potentially in the future, if it grows into something completely different, you want to separate it, whatever, then you would have a different channel trailer. But for now, you just want one channel trailer that kind of explains, okay, this is Business in the Raw. This is what Stone Fruit is. This is who I am. This is what I deliver. This is why I'm special. So that's kind of the first thing I do is I would record some sort of channel trailer. Typically for me, it's a bit of a longer video than my usual 3 to 10 minutes. In this case, it's 9 minutes, 21 seconds, but typically it's something that goes super in depth, like shows all of your knowledge. So something that's ultra valuable. And for me, it's just one of my top performing videos. I just kind of use this video because it has some unique selling points throughout the video. So that's kind of what makes a good channel trailer. But it's basically something that shows who you are.
Okay. On the list.
All right. So when you scroll through my channel, you see there's a very unique layout to my channel. There's all kinds of, there's a lot of different videos, right? When you come over here, you have just the past live streams, the videos, and the upcoming live streams. So I would capitalize on making more sections here based on playlists. So with your playlist, you can take all of these playlists here and basically just add them into your channel trailer. One thing that you could do that'd be really helpful for you, I think, would be to add the Business in the Raw episodes in here. So you can basically go ahead and create a new playlist from Business in the Raw.
But there is a playlist for Business in the Raw.
Okay. So yeah, I would just add it in here, and you can do that by going to your YouTube studio and then going to customization and then layout. So you can add all your different stuff in here. So you can just add in a playlist, single playlist. You can search it. So you go like Business in the Raw. It comes up. There you go. So then you could just add that right onto your, your featured sections. And you can add up to 12 sections on YouTube. So that's kind of how you would go about that. And you can also have one trailer for people who haven't yet subscribed, telling them basically, this is what we do. This, is what it is. And then you can have one for returning subscribers as well. I have the same video, but you can do different videos as well.
What is that like? Hey, friends. Thanks for coming back. We're so glad to see you. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, and you can. It's just more of like a what YouTube tells you you can do. You can kind of play around with it. I haven't really done that as far as strategy goes. Mine's just like I said, it's the same video. I haven't really experimented with that very much, but it's possible to do that. It's just something that you can do.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
As far as branding goes,
continue with the flogging.
Yeah, as far as the branding goes, I think your branding is fine. You're kind of like, hold up, let me find it. Here we go.
That's us right now.
How about that?
That's as meta as it gets.
So the channel branding is fine. Like this part up here, this part here is good. Everything fits good. So, I mean, you're on point with that. You just got to make sure, obviously, that this part doesn't get cut off in a widescreen display. So, like, if I look at mine, this is just something that I always check. Like, one of the kind of things that I always check whenever I'm creating channel banners is basically your banner is going to get cut off, like, right here when you're looking at it on a mobile device. So, if you're in your case, it might get cut off, like, right here. It might get cut off over here. I'm not exactly sure where it gets cut off the top of my head.
Well, I'll just shout out to my shout out to my graphic designer Calvin Nelson, who is so meticulous about that kind of stuff that I can't imagine it's not right.
Fine. Yeah. Like I said, that stuff sounds fine, and it looks good there. As far as your description, all this stuff, it's good. You got Stone Fruit, that's a big one that a lot of people miss, is changing their handle. Your URLs or all this customization stuff is pretty much good. As far as content in the back end of things, I don't know how in depth we really want to get in on tags and whatnot, but using tags it's not as important as it used to be. Tags and that kind of stuff aren't as important now, just because YouTube doesn't really search for your stuff through keywords and through tags inside of YouTube per video.
That's interesting.
So
that's kind of counterintuitive.
Yeah. So what you really want to look at for your tags are going to be common misspellings. And this comes directly from YouTube's analytics as well. You can see this very clear. Common misspellings. So like in my case, I put my name in there is Zack, Z-A-C-H, Z-A-C, Z-A-C-K, and then Bordeaux, every sort of spelling you could ever think of for that. And that kind of stuff gets, when somebody searches that's the big thing for keywords is search. As far as title, thumbnail, and description goes, those are where you really want to pack in your keywords. Your thumbnail should be pretty simple, some sort of, slick design. I'll tell you that like Dive Buddy Accounting, like our new niche that we launched yesterday, has some like very good examples of thumbnails. So like this kind of stuff that's going to make people actually click on your video, something that looks good, something that shows people what's going to happen without just having like, 1,000 words on it. So you just want to make sure that people from their thumbnail, you have, from the studies that I've kind of seen, you have about 1 to 3 seconds to get people to actually, when they glance over, like when I'm looking at this screen, if I just pulled up this screen right here, my eyes kind of go here, here, and here, and they just kind of glance over everything. So you need to have somebody know exactly what your thumbnail means within like a second, right? So you want to make sure that it's very click worthy. So,
and how are we doing here?
So as some of these are a little wordy. So like here, you might want to take off like some of these words. Like if I look at, here, it's very clear what the video is talking about. So meet the crew. Okay, that's easy. Top 5 dive shop strategies. Okay, I know what that's about. Deducting meals and entertainment. Okay, I know what that's about. So if you look here, if you look at, some of these videos, like you can tell, okay, disruptive team building. But then after that, your mind kind of goes away from the words. Because remember, if you're looking at this, most people using YouTube are looking at it on a mobile device, which means their box is going to be a lot smaller than what it is here. So you got to remember, you got to optimize these thumbnails for very small screens. So when somebody looks at your thumbnails, you want them to be able to instantly know what your video is about. And I don't do the best job of this right now, but like if you take this thumbnail right here, this is a highly clicked thumbnail. Let's see, I think I can open it down here. There we go. Like this thumbnail, people know, they look at YouTube setup. Okay, they know what it's about instantly. They know it's about a YouTube setup. It's about how to do a YouTube setup. So when you look at that kind of stuff, that's what's really going to increase your engagement rate. Another like huge tip that I can give you here that was just like, it's helped me out tremendously is using vidIQ. vidIQ is a software that basically you just sign up for it. You go in there, you use it. It's basically will give you any piece of information you need. So like vidIQ has an AI coach. So if we go here to like, let's just look at a top YouTuber. All right, let's look at this. We can go here and we can say, why did this video perform well? And it'll tell you, it'll analyze the video, the script. It'll tell you, okay, it had an engaging title. So the click-through rate was really good. Strong initial engagements. Okay. Positive comments. That's always good. So you can see here, the comments. What it could have improved. So the description could have been better, right? And this is just like basically an analysis that AI does like instantly based on a lot of different factors that you don't even see on the front end. It can also give you some really good analytics in the back end. As far as, you know, vidIQ, how it ranks it, what search terms they were ranking for. You can see exactly what tags he used here. You can use, or you can see, you know, the channel details, how long the channel's been around. All these kind of analytics you can see through vidIQ. And you can also do a few different things as far as in the back end of the YouTube channel with vidIQ. You can, you know, there's a keyword inspector. So if you want to look here and you just search up copywriting. Right. You can see that this is not the greatest tag because you can see it has a high search volume, medium competition. So you want to look for one that's in the green. You can filter it. So Gary Halper, right? I don't know who that is, but if you knew something about that guy, you could target this keyword really hard and you would get good results. It'll tell you that you'll get good results because it's got a low competition and it's got a decent search volume. So vidIQ can help you a lot in the back end of things with ideation from looking at keywords and actually researching to see, has this concept actually performed in the past, which is something that you really want to look at when it comes to that. And then you can also view competitors back here. So if you look at, you know, YouTube channel ID, I haven't actually set this up, I don't think. You can look at competitors back here. I've done it for clients before. You can also look at, you know, trend alerts. So when something starts trending, whatever it is, you can analyze your subscribers. You can do bulk SEO. There's a lot of great tools that vidIQ offers. You can get daily ideas. So every day you can come in here and get some ideas on, you know, what's actually working, what video titles have worked really good in the past, your likelihood of views. So like in this case, this is a title. It predicts it'll perform really high. And so you can either save it or you can dismiss it. So vidIQ is basically everything when it comes to SEO and actually getting your video watched. vidIQ is a fantastic tool, and it's really good for, you know, getting analytics and stuff like that.
I have never heard of that. Thank you for something new.
Yeah, and TubeBuddy does a really good job as well, but I just prefer vidIQ. That's the competitor. You can also get analytics like on your channel. So as far as you know, view duration, like all that kind of stuff. And it's also important to check out your analytics on like every video. So if I look here,
yep, that's what I want to know. That's what I want to know.
Yep. Like this video here did all right. Let's just watch this one here. We can look at analytics. So in this video, the percent viewed was fairly low. So that's why it didn't perform as well. So it's 31% view duration. You can see exactly where the drop-offs are. So right here, there was a drop-off. So everybody watched pretty much till 4 seconds. That's when the drop-off happened. Now you can come in here and analyze the video. Okay, what happened at 4 seconds that made people drop off? And especially if you had a call to action at the end, you'll see like huge drop-off rates there. You can also get your average view duration, which you can use to calculate how many people viewed through. View duration is the thing that you really want to look at for every social media platform. So retention rates are the most important metric on any platform because platforms want you to stay on the platform so they can show you more ads. So that's kind of how that, you know, typically works is you want to look for view duration and drop-off rates. So this is where you can kind of identify, you know, here's the drop off rate. 50% of people dropped off from 4 seconds to 13 seconds. So what happened in that time that I can, you know, fix for the next video? You can see, you know, the views, they all went at once and then they kind of flattened out. So it's gotten 3 views in the past, whatever time this is. So you can kind of see where that reach went. You can also see a lot of information back here on traffic sources. So this is the amount of people that swiped away versus actually watched the video. The amount of people, you know, where your traffic's coming from. Your goal here is to get this shorts feed to 99%. So you want as many people as possible coming from the shorts feed because that means that it's pushing your video out to the algorithm. These are the search terms that apparently I'm ranking for. Apparently I'm ranking for buzz cut, even though I don't have a buzz cut. So I don't know why those are search terms. I don't think I even used keywords on this, but your goal is to get as many unique viewers as possible. And this one was kind of an older short based on like, you know, this is basically like when I first started my channel. Let's search for views. See what we can get here. So let's look at, we'll look at this short. This one performed a little bit better. If I can find the, there we go. So you can see here that all the views came at once and then it kind of evened out. We got 5 subscribers from this short. The percentage viewed is a lot higher, so it performed a lot better. You can see like there's a direct correlation there. Average view duration is 12 seconds out of 15. And you can see kind of there was a drop-off point right there. And then another one like right there. You can kind of just look at the graph and see where the drop-off points were. You also want to, you know, obviously look at your reach. So where did your traffic source come from? Mostly shorts feed. Very similar swipe away rate. That's kind of another thing you want to look at. Engagement. So engagement doesn't really matter that much anymore. It used to matter a lot more, but the amount of people that engage with you is not really as important nearly as view duration. And you can see a lot of analytics here on your audience. So you want the majority of people to be unique viewers versus returning viewers. You want as little returning viewers as possible and as many unique viewers as possible. So that means your content's actually getting shown to new people.
To new people, exactly. Zach, can you go behind the scenes on the Stone Fruit channel and tell me what we're doing well?
Yes. Let's see.
Do exactly what you're doing here and tell me what we're doing well. I'd also love to know of the thumbnails you see, which ones are like really working. Or
yeah, so another thing that I'll say is that we always A/B test our thumbnails for, we almost always A/B test thumbnails. And doesn't look like I have the password for the Stone Fruit channel. Let me try and see.
Okay,
I think
I'm gonna. Yeah, it is the. Yep, you know what it is.
I think I know what it is.
If it's not 1, it's 2, but it's probably 1.
But yeah, we always A/B test our thumbnails just because there's a lot more opportunity to get things right when you A/B test your thumbnails. Like there's a lot of opportunities that's missed just because there's a bad thumbnail and people don't click through the video. So if you can test different thumbnails and see, okay, this person did a really good job on this thumbnail or this person did a really bad job on this thumbnail. But yeah, typically as far as trends go, modern is like the key, right? So if you look at other people's thumbnails, we base our thumbnails on other people's thumbnails. So we might look at like a Mr. Beast thumbnail or, you know, bigger YouTube channels that are in your niche, see what they're doing well, and then base your thumbnail kind of off of it. So copying.
But then you look like everybody else, which is totally anti-thematic to how I like to work.
Yes, but at some point you have to, or else you're not going to get any views. So if you can kind of take your thumbnail, add your own spin to it, be unique, but then also have kind of a unique spin on it. Like as far as your video itself, it will help you out a lot if you can, you know, just put your own unique spin in the video. There we go. I finally got it right. I think I typed that in like 6 times and just like typoed every single time.
That's because we're live, player. That's because we're live.
Yep. Of course. All right, here we go. I'll bring it back up here. So when we look at analytics here, we will look at, so in the last 28 days, we're looking at this. So our top viewed video was the disruptive team building. That has
go JT.
So we're looking at chat messages throughout. That's live stream kind of view type of things are a little bit different. You can see there's a huge drop off on pretty much every live stream has a fairly big drop off. To be honest with you, like your audience is not big enough to like be able to say, okay, this is exactly where the drop off point was, or this is exactly what happened here or there when you look at it. But you can kind of see from the graphs, like, okay, here's where some people came in, here's where a little bit, people left. You can kind of see where that stuff is, but you can kind of see from engagement as well that your viewers are very similar. What I would recommend we look at here is what tags and what stuff are being used. So in this case, whenever you have any sort of name on here, so Jennifer Thornton, whenever you look at that, like, is she somebody that people would know, that people might be searching for? So if you bring on somebody who's bigger than you, then you'd want to put on like, their name and target their name. So if I were to bring on like a bigger person into my into one of my podcasts, for instance, right, I would put their name there if somebody might search that name, right? So if you want to, rank for that keyword, that's where you want to go. I typically try to use my hashtags a good bit here, but like I said, they do not matter as much as they used to. Just packing this full of keywords, though, is going to be kind of where your main focus should be. Trying to see. I don't think it'll tell me necessarily a click-through rate, but I do want to see what is the reach. All right, so your click-through rate is extremely low. So this is where you're really going to want to improve on. Your click-through rate is 0.6%. So that means your thumbnail wasn't as good as it should have been. So 2.2 thousand people had, 2250 had the opportunity of potentially seeing your video, whether that's popping up on the YouTube Discover page, whether that's they search for something around it. YouTube has recommended your content a good bit here. So you have decent recommendations for your inside of your funnel, but your click-through rate is low. So that means you want to test out different thumbnails, test out different titles, change your description up a little bit. The description isn't as important, but it's not necessarily the reach that you're looking at. It's more of the actual click-through rate. So that's something that I definitely see a huge room for improvement there. This is kind of where your traffic's coming from. Obviously, there's only like a few people here, so it's not necessarily like as accurate as it could be. But yeah, typically where your top people are coming from is your browse features. So just your YouTube home screen, search. Some people are searching for subjects around your, whatever they're searching for. And then direct or unknown. So that's probably people coming from LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, those kind of places. Other YouTube features is 12%, and then channel pages. So the main place that people are coming from is your browse, which means that, and search, which means that your click-through rate is even more important. So I would focus on right now, your big focus should be on optimizing your thumbnails and making sure they're clickable and making sure that people instantly recognize, okay, this is what this video is about, and this is how I can benefit from the video. So we always try to portray value, like the same way you do in an offer. You want to portray like, okay, this is the value of the video. Like if you watch this video, this is the benefit you're going to get from it. So it's the same way you do like an offer or something like that. You want to show that in your thumbnail and in your title. And then also for your title, I think we already fixed this. Yeah. You want to make sure that you have this part here before this part. So we already fixed that, but that's another note that, I added on there.
Yeah.
Is that, you got to make sure that your title is something that's very clickable. So those are kind of the big tips that like click-through rates, like really big right now from where we're at as far as the Stone Fruit YouTube channel, because, you want to make sure that people are actually clicking on your content. Because if you don't click on it, they don't have the opportunity to watch it. So.
Yeah, I definitely feel like, well, first of all, again, it was a desert island. I don't know, 4 months ago.
Yeah.
So, this is day 147 of having a live show. That's not a lot of time, 150 days. How I feel like I'm just kind of like, just making things to make them sake sometimes. How long does it take to actually build a platform that's like worth the ROI of it and I don't know. I guess like make me feel better. Make
Yeah.
me feel better. It's a lot of work for like
Yeah,
you
so
know, 2 or
everybody's
3 eyeballs.
timelines are different, but being an authority figure in your space, so being the copywriters that everyone looks at, right, is going to make you it's going to give you the opportunity to A, charge a lot more, and then B, much more desirable for people to work with. So, like, if somebody comes to me, like, if I am posed as a thought leader in the industry, people are going to look at me and say, okay, this is somebody who I need to work with, right? This is not just another person trying to do copy, because as we both know, there's millions of people doing copy because it's the next big thing, but nobody knows how to do copy like you know how to do copy. So you got to show that as far as becoming an authority figure, showing people, okay, this is what we actually offer. And then show people how you can provide value from a business standpoint as well. So show people, your knowledge, your expertise. So in my case, I, show people a lot about video. I show people a lot about marketing, about how I get my mindset right for being able to handle the amount of content that I do, anything content marketing like that. I show people, and I show people like a lot of people on different platforms like TikTok, they want to see your authentic self. So they want to see, okay, this is exactly what he's doing right now. This is, the behind the scenes type of stuff, make people feel like they know, they got a little bit of insight as to what's actually going on with your life. And then they'll obviously populate more. But the big thing here is just being able to be an authority figure in your space and show people why you're actually special. Because obviously, you've positioned it perfectly so that if somebody asks you, they know. But to have people that come to you because they know is a lot harder. So it's, I hate when people just make content just to make content just because it's not serving a purpose. You have to make sure that your content is actually serving a purpose in the case of, okay, this video has this purpose. So in my case, I'm going to make a video on acquiring clients using, my unique method, right? That video is used more as a sales asset than it is just as a video. And the goal here is to sell your service. Like at the end of the day, as much as we want to make content and just keep pushing out content, you got to show people your expertise, why you're special, and show people why, it's some unique method that they haven't heard of before, so that they know, she's the real one. She's the one that has to be for me. So to be able to do that in a YouTube channel or in any sort of social media page, it's not like you're going to do it by, 6 years, 3 days, 2 months, and 3 hours and 8 minutes. Like, it's not that specific. It's like,
but your general rule of thumb, I've heard it takes a year. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, it kind of depends. It can take more or less than a year. Like some people, if they throw in a bunch of effort right at the beginning, they're going to grow faster. If they don't, put in as much effort, it takes longer. Like there's no like set in stone thing where I'm like, okay, it's going to be, this time. Like the time frame isn't what you want to worry about, because like, let's take campground accounting, for example, right? It took us a long time to build it up, but now we're an authority figure for accounting for campgrounds, right? So it's not just like we are, there to be there. We're there to actually provide value to our audience. And it shows that we're a thought leader in the industry versus just being, another person. So I think it's more about like showing people who you know. And it's not about necessarily about making a massive audience. It's about making an audience who's engaged and a focused following, right? So it's not just about having everybody there to kind of to be there. It's having people who are actually going to buy your product or service or be a lead in the future.
From your lips to God's ears, Zach, if I only did one thing you told me to do, what would you want me to do?
I think your best kind of thing right now to do would be to just, A, keep cranking out content, but B, go back, look at some of your thumbnails, analyze what performs well, what doesn't. And right now, obviously, we don't have as many followers as we'd like, right? So we got to keep, optimizing the little tiny things to make a big impact over the long run. So if you change a thumbnail to something that goes viral, or you optimize your click-through rate a little bit more, you're going to be able to have the content that you already have go, a lot better off. So from a YouTube standpoint, I'd recommend you go for your kind of click-through rate and optimize that first. would be my first kind of big piece of advice there. And then after we do that, then you can actually start making some, super valuable like sales assets to sell yourself through YouTube versus, just cranking out content to crank out content. Because when you just put out content and you never see a result and you're just throwing it into the endless abyss of, creating it by this time frame or whatever the schedule is, it's not going to be as valuable, and your audience is going to see that too. So you have to make sure you're actually delivering as much value as possible so that you can actually nurture your leads and make money. So that's kind of what my advice would be.
From your lips to God's ears. Yeah. You hit me right where I live, and I really appreciate that you've taken some time to course correct me kind of in the beginning of our journey here. It means a lot to me. Winding up our time on the roll today, we're already at 1 hour. I want people to know how they can get in touch with you and how they can find you.
Yeah, you can contact me pretty much anywhere. I am at Real Zack B on every platform except for Instagram. I'm at the Zack B on Instagram, but you can search Real Zack B; it'll come up. You can also go to DozerDog.co and book a call in with me, and I'll be happy to talk with you anything that you have questions about. Or you can go DozerDogDesigns.com. It's my main website. That's where my business is basically run. So yeah, it's pretty simple to find me. I try to make myself as searchable as possible. So yeah,
that is true. You will not be able to stop seeing Zack once you clock into him, for sure. I'd like to reactivate this delicious offer we had. That was a $99 offer, in which we are suggesting that you'll get 45 minutes of one-on-one time personally with you, Zack, and 90 minutes of one-on-one time personally with me for positioning. So if you are interested in this delicious offer, I highly suggest you go and spend literally $100 to change your life. So the link to that is in the comments and then also in the show notes. So not to neglect that we're also doing some offer testing as well. Let's A/B test some offers while we're here.
Of course.
Indeed. Zack, was one question I should have asked you but didn't.
Man, that might be the question of the year right there. I gotta start asking that on whenever I do a podcast.
You know where I learned that? You know where I learned that? Jennifer Thornton, Disruptive Team Building.
Yeah.
That is something she does. What's one question I should have asked you but didn't?
That's a hard one. I don't know. I have no clue.
Okay. I should have asked you about your epic scuba diving trip coming up.
Yeah.
Tell the folks at home where you're going to be.
Going to Egypt. Yep.
How cool is that? What's the one thing you are hoping to see there that you can only get from diving near in?
There's a lot of different species of fish and stuff there that are unique to the area, but you always look for sharks, eels, all the good stuff, jellies, whatever you can get your hands on.
Well, you gave us a good eel today. You are a good eel. That's the name of our new podcast, Good Eels.
Yep. There you go.
Awesome. Well, I hope that anybody who had a chance to come by and spend time with us today on the Stone Fruit Roll-Up, your weekly Thursday live show, that is meta is better perspective on building a platform for yourself. Fly on the wall perspective as I hobble along. That makes no sense. Hobble along and trying to do what the cool kids do, just like you, Real Zack B.
Yeah.
Thanks, Zack.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time today. Yeah, we've had a big double down. The little business in the raw and a little Stone Fruit Roll-Up. So it's awesome to play with you in the sandbox.
Same here.
Okay. Thanks,
I appreciate
everybody.
It. See ya.
Yeah, pleasure.